so what we have here is some data that just has seven units on it. Getting those into our spreadsheet. Okay. One last bit of information here. Okay. Now, there are only 2 people in Econ 2 this semester, is that right? Allison and Angie? Okay. The rest of you have had, not the rest of you, some of you have had Econ 2. I'm going to let Angie, because she brought this to me, I'm going to let Angie just kind of briefly describe. I can't, I can show you this, her work, but it doesn't mean a whole lot, so I'm going to explain it and then bring this back to me so I can get your other information. So just very carefully, just not from what you and I discussed, but from what you discussed in your Econ 2.
Okay, well, the labor is paperwork. First, when you have 0 labor, you have 0 product. When you have 1 person working, their product is 1.5 units. 2 people, you get 6.5 units. 3 people, you get 14, and so on and so on. So that's the output.
Okay, and then in Econ class, you were doing what? So tell me what the next column does.
Average product per worker.
And you did that by doing what? So this is average product per worker. So per labor?
Yeah.
Okay, just to use the same numbers. And how did you determine that?
Well, you would just take the number of products that you got divided by how many laborers. So that would just be
okay.
Half divided by 2, 14 divided by 3.
So this would be 5 divided by 2, you said? Because from here to here would be 5 units?
Well, that's marginal product.
Okay. So the first thing you showed me,
the marginal product? Okay, that is the difference.
Okay.
In how much output there is. So that would be 0.
Okay. So marginal product. Okay. So that would be, this would be 1.5, and this is 5, and this is 7.5. Okay, did I do this right? 3.5 here?
Yeah.
And this is 13? Okay. And so the other notes you have on this, you said, did you also do that average? Is that what you were looking at? Was the increase in? Okay, continue with this because you divided this up. You said it's increasing here and it's decreasing here.
Right, because your marginal rate.
Okay, so at what point did you say it was increasing or decreasing, or what was the?
At the 5th unit or the 5th worker is when production.
Okay, so somewhere in here, this part of it you said was?
Increasing marginal product.
Increasing marginal product. And this is decreasing marginal product. Now, what's that got to do with this class? Anything at all? And if so, what? Marginal product. We talk about marginal profit, marginal cost, marginal revenue. So what would marginal product refer to? First derivative, right? Slope of what? What function? I mean, you may not be able to tell me, plus this, minus that, whatever, but the function of what in words?
For that.
Mm-hmm.
Labor.
So this marginal product is the derivative of with respect to, what do you fill in here? Derivative of what with respect to which one of these that gets the input variable and which one gets the output variable? Let's, if you have this, how do we read this? This is the derivative of, which one is it? With respect to x, right? So this is the derivative of product with respect to labor. Okay, so it's a function of, it's product, P of L, if you wanted to do it that way, would be your function. Now, let's go one step more. If we're saying that this is a rate of increase, this is a rate of increase. When we talk about how is the rate of increase changing, then what are we talking about? The rate of increase is our first derivative, but when we talk about the rate of the rate of increase, we're talking about what? Second derivative. Okay. Now, without looking at a scatter plot, what do you think this is going to look like? Yeah, Philip, go ahead. Based on what?
Based on the slopes of the first derivative of increase till they get to 13, and then they start to increase.
Because if someone, let's put labor here and product here. If someone's only looking at the fact that it's increasing and then decreasing, they could be misled into thinking that this function increases and then decreases, right? Well, wait a minute. If it increases and then decreases, isn't that what we're talking about? So we have to be a little savvy about this. Now let's look at the graph. Yeah, do you have that in your Inspires? Okay. What I want you to do, now on this model you do control document. On the gray one, just do home. But I want you to get to where you can add a data and statistics page. Okay, when you do, you should get something like that. Now I can take a look to see. Katie, you came in a little late. Did you get that data into the? Okay. Okay, so this is something I don't know we've done enough of, so let me just kind of see what you're doing here. Are you logged in? Okay. Who else came in later? You logged in? Okay, Zach, are you logged in? Okay, I want you logged in only so I don't get all those empty spaces there. Okay, good. Okay, so we got a few people who are just a few seconds behind. Okay, enough that we can go on. Let's go on here. So now, down here, move your cursor. Either use the click or use the cursor. Move your cursor down, and it says click to add. And so if you do that, you've got a choice. If you labeled those correctly, you've got a choice. Which one's your input? We said it was labor. Okay, so it's going to go down here. But what we have then is, isn't that nice? Can I to see those things move around? But what we have is kind of a frequency chart. Each of these items was mentioned only once, so it's just a frequency. Then move your cursor to the other side. Click. What goes here? Product. Okay. And so when we do that, we're going to see. So if initially you thought, oh, the graph's going to go, it's increasing and then it's decreasing, look again. It's not increasing and decreasing. And we talked about being the rate of the rate of change, which means we're looking at the second derivative. If the second derivative is positive, what do you know about the graph? Second derivative, positive. Concave up. Is it concave up? Can you see that this could be concave down then?
Yeah.
Now look at a scatter plot. You know, it's not going to be, unless it's exact data, it's not going to fit an exact model. But knowing what we know, I can see that this looks like it's something like this of a curve. Concave up here, concave down here. So how does this problem from your Econ 2 fit into this course? What you're really discussing is second derivatives, yeah. Now, ask your Econ 2 professor what the derivative would be. You know, ask about that. Because I would hope that we all have a desire to make a connection between what this class gives you and what you're learning over there. There's a reason they have you take this class. We're talking derivatives here. And we're talking second derivatives. Now, there's a second problem that you had there. I think it has a little more data. Let me, let's take a look at that. Okay, so we've got, we have labor again. And you have output listed here. Did you have, is this product again, or? Okay, so we could put product again up here. And let's see, again, we go, only this time we go down to 9. So you can, I'll write it out here so we have record of it. And this is going to be a little easier to remember. It's 0 and 10, and then it just goes by 10, up to by tens, but it goes 30, 60, 100, 130, 150. It does jump to 165, so it's not quite a 10 there. And then 175, and then 180. Okay, so I need to get that in my Inspire also. Now, did you replace the data in the one you had? If I try to use the same spreadsheet with the same labels, it's not going to like it. So I guess what I better do, I'm just going to use this one. And did you find out that if you tried to use the same letters, it didn't like that on a new spreadsheet? It didn't have a problem? Okay. Well, I'll do this instead, just because. So let's see, 10, 30, 60, 100, 130, 150, 165, 175, and 180. Now, if we look at this data, and Angie has marginal product again here, and so I'm going to assume, let's see, you said this is 0, and this is 10, and then 20. I'm assuming that it's 30 minus 10 is 20. Is that how we're getting this? Okay, so we're taking the differences here, and we have 30. I would question how we get, if we're taking the differences, but they're adding a 0 at the top, assuming that marginal product is 0. In math, we don't often do that, but let's see. This one should be 40, 30, 20. Tell me if I'm getting off on this, 10 and 5. Okay, so we're seeing the same thing here. The marginal product is seemingly increasing to about this point.